part of Double P Media, doublepmedia.com.
Welcome back to Bustin' Blockbusters. It's been a long time since we've been talking about the Lord of the Rings because it's been a long time since there's been any good Lord of the Rings stuff to talk about. But we finally have a teaser trailer and an airing date for Lord of the Rings Rings of Power Season 2, which will be airing starting on Friday, August 29th of 2024. Likely a couple of episodes will drop in that first day, and then they'll go week to week. Is it 3? Okay, 3 episodes will be happening in...
I heard 3.
Okay, that makes sense. I think they've done that before. Other Amazon shows have done that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that fits right along line. And then they'll go week to week from there. But we did get a teaser, which I didn't count how long the teaser is going to be, or how long the teaser actually was, but it wasn't really long enough to get you excited about the season. Lots of great visuals, lots of interesting plot points, which we'll be talking about as we review this trailer. And I guess, Priscilla, since you're joining me, thank you once again. Priscilla is at Priscilla1TV on YouTube. Be sure to check out her channel, especially if you speak Portuguese, but actually the translator works pretty well too. Her thoughts are always good, no matter what language you're listening to them in or reading them in. So, Priscilla, thanks for joining me. And what did you think of this trailer? Were you excited for it? Did it bowl you over? Did it just did you go, okay, and I'm glad other fans enjoyed it? Because a lot of people seem to really like it. But what did you think?
Thank you for having me, Matt. I was very excited, and it was one of the cases that the expectations were met. I think it was a very good teaser. I felt it more or less it was a trailer because you could see there was some sort of dramatic conduit to it. So it's all about Sauron, no? Yeah. These teasers, and I think I mean, season 1 was a good season, in my opinion, but it had some flaws. You could also see the flaws in the trailers of the first season. Like the trailers were a little bit too esoteric. It didn't give you a hint of what was going on or what the plots would be. And this one, no. This one, I don't know if it's because we already know the characters at this point, and where they stand and what they are aiming at. But I felt that you could pick up some things just for the trailer alone. And it was very good. I think it was intense when it had to be intense. I think the visuals great, as always. Had a couple of images that are very impressive. Yeah, so they delivered a very good teaser that it felt more like a trailer to me, honestly.
Yeah, it did have quite a bit of epicness to it and a little bit of storyline to it. There's been lots of trailers coming out this week. It feels like that House of the Dragon and this show are always seemingly competing against each other. At least it won't be as bad this time around because House of the Dragon will be done.
Let's give it to Amazon here. Because the Rings of Power, they had already said when they were going to premiere, and then House of the Dragon came and put the dates more over. So this time around, they waited 2 hours. 2 hours to drop their own.
Yeah. So let's ask you, what shot got you most excited?
Well, Matt, the shot that got me most excited was actually seeing Sauron in the end, at the height of his powers. He, coming possibly to Revion to defeat all those punny elves, not hiding anymore in the Halbrand persona. I am so excited to see Sauron as Sauron, And moreover, Sauron before being just like a formless, godless, evil being, presence, but really Sauron as this being, this creature. So I'm very excited for Sauron. Yes. I admit it.
I also am very excited for Sauron, and here's why. The dude is willing to change his whole look. He's just for Galadriel's love. It's the only reason that he went blonde. He is, as our friend Bubba says, he's changed his hairstyle to impress a girl. And I feel like that I really got excited about seeing Sauron as a blonde. He's hot.
He's hot.
Yeah, I wasn't so impressed with him as the other, as just the dude on the raft. But now I am impressed with him.
He was cute. He was cute. He was like a little bit ruggedy. How do you say? A little bit like scuffy, or handman style. Rough around the edges, let's say.
But when he's got beautiful gold locks, he looks just as unrecognizable, not as Matt Smith does as Daemon Targaryen. I remember when they first cast Matt Smith as Daemon Targaryen, I thought that'll never work. There's no wig good enough to make him look like Daemon Targaryen. And then they did it. They pulled it off for me, and I feel like they've done it with this actor.
Yeah.
And Sauron portraying. I guess that's supposed to be Anatar.
Yeah, I don't think they have the rights to call Anata. But the thing you said about Daemon Targaryen, and that also happened with the Sonic, the character, and the Witcher when it first came. So there was like a teaser for Witcher with Henry Cavill, and people were like, "That's not it," and they listened to it and then they changed it. The same thing happened with Sonic. Remember the first iteration of Sonic, they also changed it, and I think the HBO also they heard this feedback and they changed because he looks okay. I don't think he looks like the hottest dragon rider ever, but he looks okay.
Okay.
The ones that I really liked was the Valerians. The Valerians looked amazing.
Folks, we always want to hear what you thought of this trailer. What were your favorite shots? Even if you want to give it a rating, make sure to give it on a double scale. We're not going to do that. It's too short to give a rating to. But we want you to tell us what you thought about this trailer. At the word double the letters PHQ on all of the socials is how you can reach Double P Media, which this podcast is part of. Or you can find them on YouTube at the word double the letter P, the word media. You can find and reach out to Priscilla's videos, who has already done a review of this trailer on her channel at Priscilla TV1. And you can reach out to me at Bust Blockbusters on the site formerly known as Twitter, or send emails to mattsaudioblog@gmail.com. Can we dive in, Priscilla? Can we get right into it now?
Yes.
So our first shot you have recognized as being part of the end of the first season, which I didn't even remember. I had written down, it's like, oh, there's this person near Mount Doom with a nice flowy cape. But this is from the end of the first season, huh?
Yes, I think it was the one that people thought that Sauron was in a L'Oreal advert because his hair was flowing. This was the last shot of the first season, if I remember correctly. It was him coming home, so to speak.
And then we have, we hear a voice, and I believe it's Prince Durin the Fourth, who will be Durin the Fourth, saying, "An evil, ancient and powerful." And as that happens, an image of Sauron, who we know him in his earlier form from season 1, is looking around. And I'm just kind of like, maybe now we can just call him Sauron, except later on in the trailer, I get spoiled that he'll probably go by another name yet again, because he's tricky that way. But there is a shot of Sauron. It looks like he's by a fire or something like that. Anything you can glean from that shot?
Well, I think they are doing, like in this trailer, specifically at this point, they are doing the things that they usually do in trailers, that what the characters are saying don't exactly match the images that are being shown. So I don't think Durin is actually talking about Sauron. I think Durin is talking about something that is affecting the dwarves directly.
I agree.
So, because also the last episode we saw the Balrog, right? We had a glimpse of the Balrog. If I would have to hazard a guess, it would be, and you seem to agree, that the trailer is doing this thing, not talking about something but showing another thing. So
Yes,
that's what possibly is the Balrog.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think that Durin, in the next shot when he finishes the sentence with "has returned," I think he's definitely talking about the Balrog, and it doesn't have anything to do with Sauron. But there is a theme of Sauron throughout the trailer. So, like you said, they've just cut different images to look like Durin could be talking about Sauron, even though he's not.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the way Durin looked in this shot?
It's fine. I really like the dwarves. Like the dwarves and the Harfoots, they were I think the series is at its best for what, if my opinion is to be counted, when they are like filling the dots, filling the gaps that Tolkien didn't care or didn't have time to delve into. So when they say like, okay, we don't know much about hobbits, but we know there are like three types of hobbits. So how should we? Let's just talk about the origins of these hobbits. They're this kind of hobbits that you can see on the Third Age. Let's talk. They should have come from somewhere. They just they didn't exist at some point. And then they created this backstory about Nori and like the stranger. This, I think, was a good thing. What they don't do very well, and I didn't understand why they did, it was mixing the lore details, like trying to change things. So, for instance, the dwarves, I think they are even better than the ones in the Peter Jackson trilogy, in my opinion, because they seem more closest to what we see the dwarves being in the books, for instance. So he looks amazing because the dwarves are supposed to look in a certain way, and I think they look in this certain way, especially Durin.
Excellent. I like the shot. Looks like everything in Khazad-dûm is still seemingly going fairly well. There doesn't seem like there's anything, battered or broken up or anything like that.
Not yet. But it could be like, Durin is a prince, so he's not on the rough side of the city.
The next shot, I have no idea what it is, to be perfectly honest.
The glue, the black thing?
Yes.
It's either like Sauron as a godless, formless thing. It's maybe Sauron shape-shifting, like, because remember, Adda thought that he had killed Sauron. So what happens with these beings? They can be slain, no? But what happens when they're slain? There is like the unseen world and the seen world, but it just when they are killed, what happens is like their physical presence is killed. So they still exist as spirit, as a force of nature, so to speak. So I think maybe this is like a visualization of Sauron returning after Adda supposedly killed him. That would be my theory. I saw this theory also being floated around by other people. Or this is something that, there's this scene with Galadriel, Aaron, and they are in the forest, possibly in a group with other three elves, and something comes out. So also, it could also be related to the scene where they are being surprised by an evil presence. I don't know.
Okay. Well, so I'm guessing that you think that these two shots are connected because the next shot is Galadriel saying, "Prepare yourselves." She raises her sword and they do a little circle around, and all of the elves kind of go back to back in a circle, facing out in all directions. Which that's always such a great tactic.
Yeah.
All they do is collapse in on you. You just set yourself up with no escape when you do that. Doesn't work. Doesn't work strategically.
Yeah. A special observation is that the hair style of Galadriel in this shot, it's from this kind of a hairdo with the braided as a crown. It's why she's called Galadriel. It's because she used to wear this kind of hairdo, which is something that they didn't do in season 1, so they are doing right now. So it's a callback to her name.
Okay.
And I didn't even notice that they were doing that, but they did. Obviously, this is like really Tolkien nerd detail that people. And when I saw it, I was like, well, this hairdo looks very familiar to me. And then I watched another video from the Tolkien Talk, which is like a Brazilian channel, and they were like, that's her name. That's why she's the golden crown. It's like maiden with a golden crown of hair. Yeah, so because that's her hairdo when she used to fight with other dudes back in the day. Because Galadriel is old, people. She's very old.
Been around a while.
Yeah, definitely. And if you notice, also like Aaron, his hair is slightly longer, which was a complaint that we had season 1 because they put a lot of elves with short hair.
The next shot that we have after we see that Elrond is in this group, the shot after that is a couple of the someone dressed in gold with looks like blood on their hands, doing a little magic, and a whole bunch of moths or butterflies coming out. I don't know who this is. I don't know who it's supposed to be. Who do you think it's supposed to be?
Well, this stranger and Nori, they are going east, right? And this is another thing, another example of the show connecting the dots of what Tolkien had said, because we know that there were like cults of Sauron, cults of Morgoth in the east going on. So what they did in season 1, they put the mystics as okay, they are members of this cult and they are looking for Sauron. And they went from east to west to look for Sauron in the season 1. And as you remember, they had some sort of like fight with this wizard. But if I would hazard a guess, maybe it's another member of this cult, because the clothes seem similar, and also the moths. They also had something with the moths in season 1, the mystics. That's what they were called in season 1, the mystics. They had some sort of moth powers, and
right.
I think the hands have blood, so might have some sort of sacrifice going on. So it's very cult-like vibes that this image is giving.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you for explaining that, because once again, I don't know much about what's going on here. Then we have, it looks like those same moths are now entering a room and swarming around, and we hear somebody's voice, and I don't know exactly who is speaking this, but someone is saying, and he worms his way inside your mind, and then later on says, and the rest of him slithers in. But this first shot with these moths, I'm assuming they're the same ones. But the next shot, the roots are kind of moving around and going through the woods like snakes. And that's as this person is saying, the rest of him slithers in. I'm assuming they're talking about Sauron, but I have no idea who is speaking. Do you have any idea who is speaking in that moment?
We will always assume it's about Sauron, right? But it might not be about Sauron. So that's the whole play with words and images that trailers usually do. In this case, in the shot of the roots that resemble snakes, there is like a man in robes, in black robes, walking. Can you see that? So I don't know. Sauron is also a necromancer, right? It's one of his. He has dominion over dead beings. I don't know. Maybe it's something related to his powers. This image, or is simply that evil presence that Galadriel and the others encounter in the forest. But you also have like some other people around. You have like some flames that I think being carried. I don't know. Yeah, I think there is like dwarves. That's the next shot. We have orcs, trolls, dwarves.
Yeah, that's true. So we see orcs. They're lovely. Not much to say about them for me. I think they're, they look good. So I'm happy with that. But then the next shot, we have Celebrimbor witnessing a nuclear explosion. No, wait, it's probably just some beautiful vision that he's having produced by Sauron, where he sees this figure come out of the light. So do you think this is occurring before or after?
And that's the big question, whether this is a flashback, because let's return for a second. Elrond figures there is something that happened between Halbrand and Galadriel at the end of the first season, but he's not sure. He doesn't know. And Galadriel is the big question. Is she going to tell the other elves that she has been fooled by Sauron? That she brought Sauron to Revion as Halbrand? Because this is or is she going to keep a secret? Depending where it is, then we can figure out whether this is a flashback, because then it would make sense. If she doesn't tell anybody,
True.
Then possibly Sauron returns to Revion. But if but maybe as then she says that I thinks he has been here all along, no?
Right. I think he has been here
The whole time.
Yeah.
So maybe Sauron was there or even before her. And if you go to see the behind the scenes that they dropped also, then like Celebrimbor is speaking about that he has to tell somebody, kind of, it seems that he's admitting that he actually received the visit before, and now that the cat is out of the bag, that he's connecting the dots, that, oh my God, Sauron was here. Because,
okay.
Yeah, and then people keep saying, and you are the one, you also said about the blonde wig. Sauron, he just puts the blonde wig and goes. But come on, let's remember that one, Sauron can change forms, right?
Right.
And second, it's not high fantasy. It's not like a huge magic going on, but they have some magical tricks. They have some tricks there. So, for instance, Finrod, that's Galadriel's brother, he actually disguises himself. So when Sauron captures him in the first stage, he doesn't recognize him. He doesn't know who he is, because he's like, and so it's not only about changing your appearance, but also changing the other person's perception of you. That's what I mean to say. So for us, it might be that, okay, Sauron just changed the hair, but there might be some magical tricks there that it changed the perception of who this person is. And if he comes all covered in white light like an angel to Celebrimbor,
right,
that's not that dude that was here like 2 days ago, right? That's another person, completely different.
Very good. Yeah, you're right. When we do see Sauron again in this teaser, he does have the blonde hair. He looks very beautiful. He's a very pretty lad as an elf. And like you said, maybe this isn't the way everybody else is seeing him. Maybe they're seeing him completely differently. It's just the way that we as viewers see him.
It's just a guess. I don't know. Maybe, as I said, the easiest way to do that is like it's a flashback that others see, and then Sauron returns, because this scene of Sauron in the long hair, the blonde hair. It's basically when, spoilers, he might be attacking Revion. So if I would guess, this is like by the end of the season, this image of Sauron like in the long hair, that we wouldn't see him possibly we won't see him with this long hair at the beginning of the season, but towards the end. But since that's the beauty of the trailer, since the images are one after another, we don't know for sure which one comes first and which one comes next. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I think one of the things that I find very interesting about it is just I wasn't expecting this at all. So that was the fun thing for me. Then the shot runs back to basically the big music kicks in, and I don't think this is Bear McCreary at all. I think that this was probably contracted out. That's what marketing companies do for those teaser trailers. They don't generally use the big composers. There are exceptions to that. So maybe it was Bear, but I don't know. It just seems like the music is really kicking in, and you get a sweeping shot of it looks like Galadriel and Elrond riding through a pasture, and you get a close-up of Galadriel looking all heroic as they ride their horses. She's not got her same hairstyle anymore. She's had to put the hair down, or she hasn't put it back up. Not sure which. Any thoughts about those two shots with the horse riding?
No, just they're beautiful shots, and that they're wearing like blue. It's a beautiful blue. I don't know. She looks cranky.
She does look cranky. Yes, she does. The next shot then is someone who I guess is Míriel, underwater. She evidently, likes to go for a swim, and she likes to swim with big creatures, big monstrous creatures, huge octopi.
But I don't think they belong together, these two images. I think the behind the scenes, we can kind of confirm that this is Míriel in the first one, but the one with the big monster, it might not be the same water sequence.
Oh.
It might be. I don't know. Maybe it is, but I don't know. And people are still trying to figure out the sea creature, right? If it's a sea creature or if it's the watcher in the water.
Exactly.
That if I think there is in the movies, right?
Yes, at Moria.
Did we have one in the movies? No. And just remember, like, they cannot do exactly. We cannot do exactly the same visual representation, so they have to change something, because otherwise they can get sued. So they change a little bit of the Balrog, because the Balrog appeared in the first the first trilogy. So this might be the same monster, but they have to do it a little bit different. But I'm not sure. It can be also a sea monster. This is like something that it's not really. Tolkien doesn't go much into details about it, but we know that it's possible. And we saw a sea monster in season 1 after Sauron. Remember?
True, very true. I forgot about the one that attacked the rafts that Halbrand and Galadriel were on. I forgot all about that. So could be the same one. They were on their way to Númenor, weren't they? or they were found by a Numenor ship. So shortly after that happened.
They were found by a Numenor ship. Now, Galadriel was going back home, remember?
Oh, that's right. Then the next shot is every soul in Middle Earth is in peril. I kind of think that's the stranger / Galadriel or / Gandalf talking. It could be Gil-galad.
Yeah, I think it sounds a little bit like Gil-galad to me.
Who do you think Disa is angry at?
No, I don't know. I think Durin, as you said, his her husband.
Speaking of father-in-law, we see him in the next shot, also as this line is being spoken, and he's peering through a hole, and there's a lot of light coming through there. Do you think he's seeing the Balrog?
I think he's definitely seeing something, no? Like he doesn't. He looks more worried than happy. I think if you find a Médhor, you would be happy, right? So he looks a little bit worried.
Yeah, possibly.
It's definitely something that makes him worry. If he's a good king, maybe he worries about his subjects all the time. Maybe that's his normal, is being worried.
Well, his kingdom's in trouble because in the next shot, this big boulder drops down on a bridge and starts to break it apart.
And you think it's the Balrog that is causing this madness?
I think so, but I could be wrong.
No, I think it's the most rational thing, or yeah, because it doesn't seem like an accident, right? It looks like they're under attack. That's what I meant.
I would agree with that. I mean, a collapse could happen just from all the mining that they're doing. Maybe it's just a result of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you think the scene of the Durin, the king looking through like a hole in the stone might be in relation to this accident? If it's an accident, I don't know. It doesn't look like accident to me, but it's a possibility.
I honestly don't know. The way they cut trailers together, those scenes could be 3 episodes apart.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about Khazad-dûm before we move on?
No, I love Khazad-dûm.
Gonna be sad to see it go. The next shot looks like Numenor is having some peace protests. And either that or they're fleeing the place and fighting for the last ship. But Elendil, I think that's Elendil, is there to give everybody a helping hand. So what's going on here?
Okay, so spoilers. So Míriel has to marry her cousin, right? Pharazôn. So maybe Elendil is pissed because Míriel is getting married. That's my very dramatic self coming out here. I don't think the other people in this he's like, don't marry this dude.
He's bad for the realm, baby. He's bad for the realm. Oh, hell.
Yeah, marry me. So I don't know. That it can be.
In the meantime, it looks like Galadriel's in her own personal hell.
But she looks better here in this photo, I have to say.
You like the way she looks in this photo? I think she looks terrified.
No, I think she the ones that like the first one that we saw that she looked very grumpy. This one she looks like mortified that something is happening. So I'm very curious to see. Because there is like flames. I don't know. Do you think it's that it's in relation to that other shots that we saw people carrying torches? I don't think so. It doesn't look the same. Or do you think she's in the forge? I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, it's a mystery to me too.
She's not happy.
That's true. Nothing says orc like licking a blade, licking blood off a blade. That is the orc way. It's what all you do when you're an orc, because not only are you evil and killing things all the time, but you're also disgusting.
Yeah, ugly. Mm-hmm. Where do you think this is happening?
That is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. It could be anywhere, but there are woods, tree, or
Revion, perhaps.
it could very well be there. I think you might be right. And then I think this is Numenor at night saying, "Darkness will bind them," is what the words that come on the screen. I think that's Numenor at night. What do you think?
Oh, I'm terrible with that because I would have to have a better computer to see this image very big, possibly identified. To me, it's too dark. It's like a bridge, right?
Yes, just the architecture.
It could be Numenor, yeah, but it could also. I think we are going to see a lot of Revion,
Okay.
Lindon, Numenor.
That sounds like a pretty good guess as to locations.
So it would be either one. I don't think we are going to see the. Oh, yeah. There was also this towers in the locations of where the Tell lived, the humans lived from the near Montum, but the whole area was destroyed by the end of season 1. So it can only be Region Numenor or Lindon. So I would say, yeah, I think you have the correct guess. I think this is Numenor.
So the next shot is probably Linden, and the three ring bearers are comparing their rings. Mine's prettier than yours.
They're all very good. So we are going to see Círdan. Círdan is this old elf, because at this point, the ring bearers are Galadriel, Gil-galad, and Círdan. Círdan has Narya, and Círdan gives it to Gandalf. Gil-galad has the one that Elrond is going to have later on at this point. And Galadriel is the only one who gets a ring and keeps the ring. But the other two they change ownership.
So for every season, turn, 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 just like the song, we see the leaves going right for straight from green to yellow because the elf land is dying. Probably Linden, I would guess.
But it's a beautiful shot. I think we are going to see Gil-galad using the powers to restore the forest, because that's what's the objective of the rings. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gil-galad wanted to create something to restore his lands. Otherwise, he would have to sail.
Okay. The next shot that we have is Durin holding. Is this supposed to be a ring of power that he's holding?
I think so. If it's not, that's the idea they are trying to convey.
Because his ring's prettier than all of the other elves.
Because the other rings were not that beautiful, no? They're the 3 elven rings were the fancier. So the other rings are not supposed to be that fancy. But they, it's a visual media, so maybe they are trying to figure out a way of saying, hey, this ring is special. It's definitely the message they're trying to send us. That's, hey, the dwarf already got a ring. Look at this.
And I can't tell whether Durin looks happy about having it or if he looks intrigued by it. What do you think he's thinking there?
He doesn't have. He's having this expression of he's trying to figure out what to do with something. I think. Wow, I have this big ring. What should I do with it? That will be my reading.
A good enough reason as any. Then we have Arondir, and he's joined the circus. He's learned some new tricks, and he's pulling his bow against the enemy because he's got these new tricks of coming off of horses and drawing his bow. So, if we got Arondir here, are we going to get any Bronwyn, do you think? I mean, because Theo's in this trailer as well, right? Our favorite boy, Theo.
Do you know? I read that I heard that the actress, she's not in the show anymore. That makes the Browning character. So I don't know. I don't know if they would recast her or if they would simply say she died. But I don't think she's in this season, or is she?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It might matter to Arondir, but I don't guess it really matters here. Eagles. We see eagles in this trailer. Priscilla. They show up at Numenor, and they look like they're going to eat Pharazôn, or possibly ally with Pharazôn, which makes me very uncomfortable.
I don't think they would be Pharazôn's ally. But well, let's remember the season ended with the king dying, so maybe they're just there paying their respects. They are like very well brought up eagles. They hear about the funeral, they go and attend the funeral and send their regards. So then Pharazôn goes and stabs the eagle in the heart with a sword, just to prove that he's against the Valar and he hates everything that is not Numenor. How about that?
Priscilla, you are the darkest person I've ever spoken to on a podcast. That is dark. Killing eagles is not allowed.
Imagine that. The poor eagle goes just to pay his respects and gets killed. I don't know. I mean, I cannot come up with any plot excuse that would say, hey, the eagles are aligned to Pharazôn. Honestly, they might have rescued Pharazôn and they are dropping Pharazôn there, and Pharazôn is terrible to them. They might have just sent a message, brought a message to someone, or they might just be honestly paying respects because the king is dead and the king was a faithful anyway. But I don't think you should be drawing your sword when an eagle is behind you. So this, I'm concerned, honestly.
I agree. It is a concern. Second to the Sauron being a blonde, my second most favorite shot is of Theo crying. Such depth this poor kid has. He knows he's done wrong. He's ready to return to the light. Or either that, or maybe he's crying because he knows he's done something terrible.
Maybe he killed his mama. Mm. Then you say that I am the one with dark thoughts here. Like you see a child crying and then you think, this is so funny, I have to laugh. No, maybe he's a bad crier, I have to say. If this is him crying, this is like a terrible expression of
He
crying.
looks destroyed. Come on.
But once again, nobody looks okay crying, right? So everybody cries. Yeah. Let's face it, Theo has a lot of reasons to cry. He lost his home. He's kind of evil, but he's not. He's like a teenage boy, which is an awkward phase. His mother and has now an elf, and the elf is his stepfather, and then he got this crush on Galadriel, and Galadriel left. So yeah, the boy, it's the hormones. It's the hormones. So I really cannot say why this boy is crying. All I can say is that, Theo, I'm with you. I know you have reasons to cry.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, Isildur's alive. like we didn't know that was going to happen. He hasn't cleaned up. I don't know what.
I mean, he
looking up
was
at.
left behind, so he might be in the company of orcs.
Ooh,
He might.
That's scary.
He might be a prisoner of war. Who knows? Yeah, I think he might be, right? Because he was missed in action, actually, and people assumed that he was dead.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Then the night bombings of Operation Pharazôn Storm begins. I'm just kidding. I don't know what. It looks like to me that's Numenor at night, and boats are firing fireballs at Numenor. Or you think it's something completely different? You think those are catapults, I guess, shooting on Aaron or Aragon?
If it's Numenor, who is attacking Numenor? Are they going to civil war already? Because it looks like a body of water, but it can be a river.
It's a wide river.
You have to think, if it's Numenor, so the city has planned 5 seasons. Numenor, we know what happens to Numenor. I don't think in this season, because if we go, the first season was what? Introduction. Then the second season would be Sauron get the rings, right? So how Sauron gets the rings, he attacks Revion. So that's why I think it's Revion. Because Sauron has to get the rings before the plot about Numenor destructions start. He has to have the rings, and he has to have like a big army that Numenor says, hey, wait a second, this guy is bad news. I have to go to Middle-earth to destroy this guy.
Yeah, but I also think that Elendil and Isildur have to get back to Middle-earth well before the war starts, because they have to establish Gondor. They have to establish other things. So it would make sense to get rid of Numenor earlier than what you would suspect, so you can just take the characters that matter from there and move them.
Well, to be honest, Isildur is already there.
True.
You already have the Míriel's visions that Numenor is going down in water, so you have to face that. What can happen is a civil war to explain why Míriel actually marries Pharazôn. Maybe we see Míriel as the legal successor of her father, and Pharazôn as the most popular one, going to war. And then they figure out, okay, yeah, let's make peace, let's get married. But first there is a war. Maybe, I don't know.
The next shot is an orc who looks like he used to be an elf. Who is that?
Dada. But he looks different.
Well, he's transformed more.
He looks more evil now, somehow. Don't you think?
They probably also changed actors.
No, they changed actors, that's for sure. But I think the prosthetics, this one, the second one, is like more really Addai. In some shots, he looked almost okay with Addai. This one is like, no, you're ugly. Sorry.
Our first real shot of the stranger is next. He likes ringing bells with this big stick. His bell may ring softly, but he carries a big stick to strike it. And then he takes that stick and he claims his stake in the wild east, I suppose. He's got a gold claim there. He's like, this is my land.
Yeah, do you think the stranger, he showed some powers over the elements before? So maybe do you think this windstorm, he's doing something to stop the...
Could be. Could very well be, yeah.
Doing some sort of magic trick to stop the windstorm that we see in the next picture.
Could very well be. Who is in that picture of the wind?
I think it's Naughty, right?
It's the only person I could think of that it would be, since she's not in any other shot in the trailer.
Yeah, and we know that she's there, definitely.
So tell me what you think of these next two shots with Galadriel firing 2 arrows, and then there's a shot of orcs getting blown up. But are they 2 shots related, or are they from different scenes? Because I think it might be that they're from different scenes, but I don't know.
I think this is a lot of fire for those just 2 Galadriel arrows. But that's just my opinion. Maybe like Galadriel has some tricks up her sleeve, but it's not. It seems a little bit excessive.
They've had
No,
boats blowing up in season 1, so why not blow things up in season 2 too?
yeah, this way, right? Yeah, well, that's. I think your theory tracks. I think that might be it. Galadriel saw an opening. She saw a lot of bad people there.
Possibly. Next shots, Elrond. It's got some really nice armor, like his armor. And how many of the horses in the shot that follows, as they're doing the charge, do you think are real?
I would say at least the first 2 rows. Yeah.
What do you think the battle is? Who are they charging against?
Technically, there should be reinforcements to the Revion battle, right? Technically, that's what should be. Because we know that Elrond in the Second Age, he was sent as a general by Gil-galad to help out, right?
Right.
If I would say something, then it's like, yeah, he's just going there to try to help Brimby. But I don't know. It could be any number of things. Because as I said before, they are filling the dots, they're filling the gaps for what we don't know, and there's a lot that we don't know about the Second Age.
That's true.
But I would say that they're just going to fight against Sauron again.
The next shot is somebody trying to destroy the rings of men, because I think there's 9 of them there, right?
Yeah, people counted online. They said it's 9.
This next shot is Sauron, and Galadriel has figured out who he is, and then they draw swords on her. He is Sauron. He's the one that's been with them all along. And now we're getting to your favorite part of the trailer. He just waves his hands and everything blows up.
Man, I'm dying to see Sauron in his full glory. This is like a dream come true, if it is.
The one thing that I've kind of disliked about the attitude that this show has taken is they seem to embrace allegory a lot more than Tolkien appreciated doing. He didn't want his books to be an allegory, and everything that Sauron does magically seems to be so destructive and overwhelmingly powerful, like a nuclear bomb. And that's one of the analogies that a lot of people were making with the ring itself when the books first came out. And then a lot of people brushed back up against that because he said, do it with applicability. You can take it and put it in any situation. You don't have to equate it to the making of the nuclear bomb. But to me, it feels like the showrunners have been doing that kind of in a way, especially with this teaser. I mean, that shot of, I guess it's Aragorn, just being destroyed is very reminiscent of a nuclear explosion.
The thing is, they are talking to like an audience that perhaps doesn't understand subtly, like being subtle about things, So they have to get. My guess is that they feel like this is a series where you have to go overboard to make the point of his powers, because we know the elves are powerful, but Sauron is a step above the elves. Not one step, several steps above the elves. The elves are Sauron has been is a spirit that has been, as he said, in existence before the first silence was broken. How can you communicate that if not with the references of a modern audience? That's the reference that modern audiences will have, is like, well, the explosion is so powerful as a nuclear explosion. So that's why maybe that's why they're doing, not that they are going against talking about the allegory thing. You as an author also, you cannot expect people to interpret your words exactly as you meant. There is also like a room for people to interpret them. So Tolkien could not control that. Nobody can. But for the show specifically, I think they're just playing around with the references we have so that we can understand how powerful Sauron is.
Once again, she is at Priscilla TV1. I am at Bus Blockbuster, and you can reach Double P Media at the word double the letters PHQ, or at find them on YouTube at the word double the letter P, the word media. Take care, everyone.
Part of Double P Media, doublepmedia.com.